This month is a great month to make your mental health and your own personal emotional healing a priority. And for some, this may mean finally deciding to start seeing a therapist. And for this reason, I've partnered with BetterHelp to assist you guys in finding a therapist that's right for you. With all of the chaos, confusion, and uncertainty going on in the world right now, coupled with our own personal daily struggles, now is definitely a great time to talk to someone who can not just be a listening ear, but can also help you with the what, the hows, and the whys that you're experiencing what you're experiencing. So if you or someone you know and love is going through something right now and feels the need for a little more help, I stress that you guys take advantage of this resource. Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to your Thursday. I gotta look at the dates. July 9th, Woke Culture Daily. We are going to follow our same old little MO here, starting with our air signs. Then we're going into water, fire, and then earth. And each card, I meant to say, don't judge me, it's early. Each sign gets one card. So first we're going to ask Spirit to give us clear and direct guidance, please, Spirit. And if they need to know anything of utmost importance, I ask that comes to the forefront of this reading. As always, I thank you in advance because I know you do it for it, Spirit. You know what I'm saying? So let's see Heather. All right. So we got Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and we have Leo, Aries, Sag, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Uh-oh. We got trickery at the bottom of the deck. Oh my goodness. Interesting. Alrighty. So, starting with my Geminis. You guys have impatience. No way. All right, Gemini. You guys have the impatience card. For today, Gemini, the biggest issue for you guys, it's going to be a mundane daily lesson on divine timing. If this is between you and Spirit, if it's between you and other people, the biggest issue of today is going to be, and it's kind of similar to what I picked up for you guys yesterday. It's this whole vibe of feeling that you're right. And I don't want to go as far as I feel like the word self-righteousness has too much of a negative connotation, but it's just the feeling as if you know better, you know what I mean? And whether that's just with timing, that's why I say like between you and Spirit, like meaning, and this is a really horrible example, but it's just kind of like, you know, I've done everything right and I got all this stuff going for me. Like, why haven't I met my husband or my wife yet? You know what I mean? Like, this isn't fair. I should have met them by now. Like that mindset or the feelings where that mindset or that thought comes from is a form of impatience. And that would be between, you know, the human and their creator type of thing. Because what that's really saying is that you know better than Spirit. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those insidious little thought forms. How this would manifest between people is feeling, you know, that a person should have done something by now, or a person isn't doing something quick enough, or a person isn't doing it right. So you kind of step in and take care of it yourself. The whole reason why I feel like this is coming up is because this is all rooted in a lack of trust. So it's either a lack of trust in yourself, it's a lack of trust in Spirit, or it's a lack of trust in other people. And it's a tendency to do things alone or by yourself or figure things out on your own, right? Because it's not wanting to leave it into another person's hands. And why I think that's important is because the forewarning so much for today, it's not nothing, you know, epic, like, ooh, you know, warning, but it's just telling you to be aware of this, because I feel there's something that's coming through for you guys, but your fear and your anxiety is telling you that it's not. So you would end up stepping before the curve and inadvertently like jacking something up for you, right? So you'd end up with something that's like a subpar version of what you could have had, because it's a fear-based decision. It's an anxiety-based decision, if that's making sense. It's not allowing things to maturate or unfold within their timing. So just guard against today fear-based decisions or feeling as if you know better than another person in a certain situation. It's a need to just kind of take a step back and chill and allowing things to unfold, if you will. And even if we were to encapsulate this into like a full-on mindset, today would be the day that you start unearthing that mindset. Now for my Libras, you guys have bittersweet. Whew. So Libra, there's something on today, and it feels something like a transformation a little bit, like something's beginning and ending in you guys' life on today. And it reminds me of Capricorn's energy from yesterday. It's almost like because spirit is leading y'all in the right direction. Y'all done had so many listen to spirit type of stuff. For you guys, it's almost like seeing the first fruits, because we've been talking a lot this week and even up until last week about Libra trusting themselves, being strategic, following the plan, not allowing yourself to get kind of thrown off by dark distractions and things of the sort. But I feel today it's almost as if what you guys have been channeling your energy into, the first fruits are the first step tangibly in this direction you guys have been working towards. It manifests on today. However, it's almost like an exchange that's having to happen here. And that reminds me of Taurus's energy from yesterday too. It's an exchange that's happening here. Well, the day before yesterday. It's an exchange that's happening here. And it's an element of sadness because you know that a way that you used to approach things, or maybe people that you're around or things that you used to do, that can't follow you into this leg of the journey. So it's like a somberness because of that, but it's still the excitement because it's a new beginning or pathway or a step in the right direction. But I feel with that, it's almost like a silent sadness, if you will, for what's being left behind. And I don't know why I feel it could be a behavior. But I mean, realistically, whoever grieves, their maladaptive behaviors, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, darn, I can't think negative anymore. Oh, I don't know who does that. But it really feels like a person, Some of you could be thinking about, you could have a positive flashback of somebody that you love that either passed away or isn't in your life anymore. And it's just, that split second of a ha-ha in relation to that person, and it instantaneously be in awe. They're not here anymore, and kind of wanting whatever it is you guys are doing or what you're celebrating or what you're excited about, wishing that person was a part of it. But I feel the whole day for Libras culminates in understanding. And for those of you that don't get to that point, that would be your charge for today. Is I feel that something's going to happen of either someone you guys are having to leave behind, or it's someone that you've already left behind, and you're in a good place right now, right? It's something to be excited about today. However, It's wishing that this person from your past was able to share in this with you. But, and I feel like that, I feel like this is coming up because it could take you into a spiral. So, man, I don't know why Spirit is testing y'all like this, man. It's just like, it's coming from all different directions. So this would be yet another dark distraction that would come from your own nostalgia, if you will. So this is more or less a forewarning to guard against that. It's like, allow the thought to come up, the memory, the nostalgia, wish they were here, but don't allow that to bring you down into a spiral of thought. So you guys are choosing, again, the higher road today, even with your own thoughts on today. I hope and pray that that makes sense. Aquarius, whoa, you guys have impasse. All these blocks for my poor little aquas. All right, Aquarius. So what's going to be required for you today is to have a higher mind and a different perspective. It's similar to Gemini's energy. It's more or less, there's something that's going to inhibit what your plans were for today, right? But it's like a blessing in disguise. And this still feels kind of like a test. And I feel like this stuff is coming up because what I really want to say, air signs, to all of y'all is every day we have tests like this from the universe, right? But we don't realize them or see them as that. So there's many opportunities in a 24-hour day that we could gain so much spiritual wisdom if we were conscious, right? And we believe everything's interconnected and nothing happens by happenstance, right? So the key is here, there's going to be something that's going to obstruct you from what it is that you want to get accomplished on today. And I said that yesterday with someone, whether it's traffic, you know what I mean? You break your coffee mug on the way, I don't know, whatever it is. It's something that's going to inhibit you from doing what you intended to do. And the biggest, most important thing on today is choosing how you're going to handle it. But I say all of that to say that what's behind that I see is how you handle it is saying a lot more about you. So that's something you would want to take with you on today. So it's more or less like, I don't know, if you are, I don't know, somebody cuts you off, whatever, you're late for work, right? If the common reaction you usually have is anger rising up, right? And that just pretty much killing the rest of your day. So kind of piggybacking on your energy from yesterday of how we were talking about the importance of daydreaming. And it's like fixating on the negative, and this negative grows more negative. So now a bunch of stuff suddenly starts to go wrong throughout the day. That's what Spirit is asking you guys to look at. So there is going to be an obstruction today. And it's important to know that, but not just know that there's going to be a block. And it's not just about the block on today. I really hope this is making sense. Like every time you have reached a situation like this prior to today, how do you deal with it, right? And how you deal with it is more important than anything else, because how you choose to deal with blocks and hindrances and things that slow you down, the choice you make on how you deal with it is saying a whole massive mosaic mural about who you are, where you are, what you're doing, and giving you a great deal of insight into your character. But I feel you're not seeing that. So today is kind of like a wake-up call. So it's not just about the I don't want to keep saying block. It's another word for this. Like, it's just like hindrance, if you will. So it's not just about the hindrance that you guys experience on today. It's about what you do every time you're hindered. Do you believe that it's life conspiring against you? A whole bunch of bad stuff happens to you, whatever? Or do you feel like it's a blessing in disguise? Do you feel like, you are being protected from something? That's important to note. And that's important to keep in mind when yet again, another hindrance is gonna pop up. So it's almost like you're being given the two paths you can take, which you always do, and you can choose to do something differently, but this time around, it's you making a conscious decision. So aside from that, what would be important for you guys is looking at what you do when you're blocked, when you're hindered, when your plans get upset. How do you respond on a regular basis? How do you usually cope with those situations? Because how you cope with them has a message in it for you about you. And I feel like that would make sense to the Aquarius that I'm talking to. I don't know if it does. I hope it does, my friend. Moving right along to our water signs. So for Cancer, you guys have the self-worth card. Oh, this is so beautiful. Okay, so Cancer's on today. The most important takeaway for today is, which reminds me of you guys' card yesterday. I feel the reason why on yesterday, when you guys had the Three of Cups in reverse and Spirit was kind of having you guys to go within, is because I feel like this is the foundation that you should be leading your life from. You don't need anyone else to tell you that you are great. You don't need anyone else to believe in you. You don't need anyone else to see what it is that you see. It's more or less your true power comes from you believing in yourself. Like you thinking, I said something similar to this on Twitter a couple of days ago. It's like, and it's a quote I have in one of my books too. Don't be discouraged when they can't see your vision, because the blind can only see that which they can touch. Right? Meaning, if you're a person with a gift, right? You have insight, foresight, all that, right? You're a visionary. You're a person who creates something out of nothing. You bring things out of the ethers into this realm that didn't exist prior to. You're not recreating things that are already created. You know what I mean? You're a creative genius in a sense, right? People who aren't like you, they're not going to see what you see because you're the visionary. You see what is not, right? You can look into the ethers and you can see what exists there, and you can manifest that into the realm of form. Not everyone can do that. So to expect people who are proverbially blind, meaning spiritually blind, so people who can't see like that, you can't expect people like that to co-sign you because they just can't see what you see, right? It's a similar context with our self-worth, right? Other people can't see that. When they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, what that really is we all have different cultural mandates. We all have different value systems. So from each one person we meet to the next, we have different definitions of a good person. We have different definitions of what beauty is. We have different definitions of a myriad of different things. So to look to the external world to validate you is setting yourself up for failure because they can't. You know what I mean? A great deal of humanity doesn't know self-love, worth, or value, you know? So the important thing for Cancers on today is to trust your own judgment, trust your own perception of yourself or of what you're doing, and to start believing that your desire, your perception of yourself is enough, right? I could literally go on for days about this, and I'm not because it's a daily reading. But the most important thing today, Cancer, is for you to give yourself what it is that you may be looking for other people to give you. If you want to be recognized for what you do, recognize yourself first, and the world will follow suit. We love ourselves first, the world will follow suit, right? And so the same if we choose the, lower vibrational side of that. If we reject ourselves, other people by nature reject us because it's a mirror reflection. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind, Cancer. Today is all about you and your opinions, your feelings, and knowing that you don't need anyone to co-sign for you, right? Now, for my Pisces, y'all got Miracle. So, Pisces, the important thing I feel is imperative for you guys to take away from today is, this is something my daddy says a lot, is I'm trying to move my foot, y'all. I was sitting on it and now it went numb. Don't judge me. Not to weary in well-doing. Because I feel for my Pisces people, I feel you guys up to this point have, and this is an opportunity for you guys too, you guys have sown a lot into other people or to a particular person and to a company, whatever. You have given out a great deal. You're there for people a great deal. And I feel you guys are kind of coming to a burnout point to where you kind of want to suck all of your energy in, you know what I mean? And just say bump that, because every single person that you meet, they don't reciprocate. I feel on today, why I feel it's imperative y'all don't suck all your energy in, is because I feel on today, I mean, this could be romantic. It doesn't necessarily have to be. This could just be, a kind stranger that you guys encounter. But the most important thing here is that someone's going to cross your path on today that would prove you wrong. But I often say when we get out of alignment with our authentic selves, right? And that came up for Leo yesterday. When we get out of alignment with our authentic selves and we start showing up in a way that we're not, meaning like you sucking all of your energy in, it's like who you are as a person is a giving person. What you do is give. Because other people don't appreciate it doesn't mean that you should suppress your light because you met a few jerks on the path or a lot of jerks on the path. Because to suck all of your light in is to deny everyone else of that light. And I feel on today, it's someone who's on your vibration that will cross your path. But if you elect to mutate yourself into something that you're not, that person wouldn't recognize you. And to them, it's like you would look like, a person that's not of light. I'm saying that figuratively speaking, not saying that your light can ever turn off, but follow me. Or it's in the form of an opportunity. It's if the same thing like with your job, like if you used to do 110% at your job and you felt like your boss didn't appreciate you, so you moved your productivity down to 30%, then when the general, regional, corporate executive people come in and they're looking for someone to promote, they wouldn't look at someone who's only giving 30%. It's not going to matter that a year, 2 years ago that you were given 110. You know what I mean? So this is more or less talking about energetic exchange. Even if you give or, even if you give to people who don't reciprocate, if you're doing it out of the purity of your heart, just because that's who you are, you build up currency in the energetic bank. And the way that the laws of reciprocity, karma, laws of the harvest, whatever it is you want to call it, because you've made investments into this account, you have money, right? It may not come back to you through the source you invested it in, but Archangel Metatron keeps tally. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is saved up for you and it'll be returned to you. You know what I mean? So don't weary in well-doing, because the only person that we really end up cheating in that is ourselves. You know what I mean? So anywho, moving on to my Scorpios, you guys have abundance. And with this, my wonderful Scorpio people, this is didactic as well. Very similar to how I said for For Aquarius, there's a hiccup that happens today for you, Scorpio, and it's all about how you typically deal with things. And the dyad of this is, do you typically cry over spilled milk and fall into sadness when things go awry? Or are you undeterred by obstacles and, disappointments, and ascend to the mindset of getting crafty? You know what I mean? Creative problem solving. Instead of looking at a hindrance or a block as something to grieve, do you see it as a challenge of like, oh, so you think you're a block, eh? We'll see about that. You know what I mean? It's more or less with what you guys face on today. Those are the two paths that you guys are choosing from. So there's one side where every time something goes awry, one falls into disarray and sadness and, woe is me type of deal. But now you're being given an opportunity to take the higher road. That seems to be the theme this week. Take the higher road. You know what I mean? It's to take the higher road. Are you going to choose differently and choose to shift your perspective and start to see blocks and hindrances and things of the sort as not the end of the world, but a challenge of how can I use my mind to find a way around this? And that's creative problem solving in so many words. So I feel with you guys on today, it's a lot of testing energy going on here, dude. But I know for the weekly reading, the whole theme this week was the mind and letting go and releasing. So a lot of this is releasing old behaviors that aren't serving you guys anymore. You know what I mean? And I would even say, dog, if I could hop back to Libra right quick, that's a little bit of being trapped in the past, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, moving right along. But yeah, dude, but with Scorpio, it's when you find yourself in these situations, it's a tendency to fall to the dark side of your mind. Your challenge today is to rise to the light side of your mind. Look at whatever obstruction, obstacle, block, whatever that you guys encountered today and make the most of it, right? It's electing to no longer cry over spilled milk or what has gone awry, and to only make the most of the now, because it's all we really have in the bigger scheme of things. And I feel doing that is going to, when we talk about abundance, it's not just financial, because if I were to piggyback on all of y'all's readings up to this point, it's been a lot of focus on money and work. I feel there's a sense of value you guys are looking for in finances, and it's not going to be found there, right? That's energetic currency still. You know what I mean? So this is almost like an opportunity for you guys to balance yourself out, because the true abundance is making the most out of every situation, never allowing oneself to ever be down for long. It's resilience, if you will. That's the true inner power, Moving on to my fire signs. Leo, we have release. All right, so Leo, for you guys on today, this is very much a thought energy, and it's almost getting stuck in your head, and it's thought reels. It's almost being tortured by ghosts of your past, if you will. And I feel for you guys on today, there's going to be something that's going to cause those to rise up. Your challenge for today is to silence those, right? I feel it's a lot of almost like accusatory, and I'm treading lightly because I want to say it like voices in your head, but I'm not saying that you're having auditory hallucinations or anything. I'm just talking about a negative thought reel. It's like I feel you guys are going to attempt to do something on today, and it's almost like getting mobbed in your mind by like negative thoughts. You know what I mean? It's like, you look stupid, you sound stupid, you can't do that, and da 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 da. It's just like a whole reel of thought. The challenge for you guys on today is to not just silence it, but to release it. Now, that's not a one-hitter quitter type of thing. When we're talking about silencing a negative thought reel, how that's done is every time those thoughts rise up, just because they do, you don't have to think them. You don't have to think the thoughts that pop into your head. You know what I mean? I look at us as antennas. I look at thoughts as frequencies. I think a thought, I release that thought goes out into the ethers, and another person will think my thought. You know what I'm saying? Because thoughts are really things, right? So if I think something, and if I don't act on it, and I release it, if I'm just like, I'm not about to think that, you know what I'm saying? And I know y'all know what I mean. When you be sitting in the grocery store and something is just like, I don't know, knock down all those rolls of paper towel. And you're like, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are like suggestive thoughts, but you don't have to think those thoughts. So this is more or less, and that reminds me of y'all card from yesterday, Leo. It's like, I feel how you guys, how I said you were out of alignment with yourself, because it's almost like these thoughts, you started identifying with them. And that's not who you are. So the way that you guys are unfolding yourself or unwrapping yourself is every single time thoughts rise up that aren't who you are, you don't think them. You push that down. You redirect your thoughts. You know, sometimes you just got to shake your head and be like, nope, we're not doing that today. Not today. We're not doing it. I'm going to find something positive. You know what I mean? So I feel for you guys, this is starting the process to silence those ghosts of your past. Because I feel like energetically, you guys have made a decision to shift into another direction. And of course, if we speak like my is not is paradigm, the is not has to manifest before the is. So if you made a choice, right, to go in another direction, and I can say the same for all signs, when we make a decision to change our behavior, the is not has to manifest before the is. The problem with change is many people get lost in the is not. That would be like the storm I talked about in Taurus's reading and somebody reading yesterday. Oh, Capricorn. People get lost in the storm, completely forgetting that if a storm is here, that means the sun has to come out again, because that's just the nature of things. Like, the sun rises and it sets. It's been doing that every day since this thing that we live on has existed. So there's never a question of, will the sun come out tomorrow? Yes, it will. I can assure you of that, right? Just like it always comes out after a storm, right? So I feel the whole thing is here, because you guys have made the decision to shift, like I say with all signs, right? The is not as manifesting as a storm, which is a test or a challenge. Don't get lost there. Remember what intention you set out to do in the first place. So don't get lost in the is not. That's just a temporary transition until you get to your is. Okay, so moving right along. To my Aries people, you guys have the passion card. Whew. So Aries, what's important for you guys on today is to be the trailblazers that y'all are, right? Much like I said for Cancer, you don't need anyone else's cosign. I feel what Aries feels led to do, it could be on the innovative side. You guys could be doing some epic visionary stuff. You could be a trailblazer where you're the first of your kind to do something, right? But people may not see what it is that you see. The thing that's important for you guys to know on today is it's important to stay true to yourself, to your inspiration, and to your idea, and to follow that through to completion. The fact of the matter is, like I said with Cancer, I shared with Cancer, if you didn't watch Cancer, I shared with Cancer a quote from one of my books where I said, that's so sad. How am I stumbling up quoting myself? That's terrible. Don't be discouraged if they can't see your vision, because the blind can only see that they can touch, right? And I mean that proverbially speaking. when you're a visionary or you're a trailblazer, because that's literally what Aries is, you're doing something that's never been done before. So if what you're doing doesn't exist yet, and you're the only person who sees it, how could you possibly ask a person that doesn't have the level of foresight, innovation, creative genius, or trailblazing ability that you have? How could you expect them to even see remotely what you're talking about? You know, like, I think it was like the guy who created the telephone. And when he told his friends what he was trying to do, they tried to have him committed into a mental institution, because that's what it's like being a trailblazer, dude. People never see what it is that you see until you do it. And then when you do it, it's like, whoa, that's a really dope idea, right? And that's when people co-sign, right? So the important thing is, Aries, is to continue to follow your highest thought about whatever it is you guys are feeling led to do. Like I said, with Cancer, you don't need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone's cosign. I feel you're being put into this position because you guys are being called or led to lead other people, whether that's creatively or whatever, not necessarily being like a leader type of thing, unless that's what you want to do, right? And it's going to require you to trust in your ability in order to push this thing forward. So don't get discouraged on today, right? Stay the course. Now for my Sagittarius people, we have completion. So for my Sagittarius on today, it reminds me very much of Libra's energy. I feel for you guys, it's time to finally put something to rest on today. I feel there's a level of shoulda, coulda, wouldas being kind of trapped in past energy, not fully letting go of things that have ended. And that kind of reminds me of you guys' card on yesterday, which was the world in the reverse. And I was saying it's something that y'all doing undercover that don't nobody know about. But I mean, what this could literally be, and this is going to be different for each person, but this is just something I feel specifically with this. The thing that other people may not know is, from an external sense, I think things with your life may look really dope to other people, but no one knows that underneath all of that, you're suffering in silence. You know what I mean? And I feel a great deal of the suffering for you guys is a refusal to accept that the past is the past, right? We can't change the past. God can't change the past. The past only exists in all of our memories. That's just the reality. It's not a place that we can go back to, at least not yet, that I'm aware of. You know what I'm saying? But I feel the biggest issue for you guys is still keeping things fresh, and there's a need to accept the finality of it, right? Allow yourself to grieve, allow yourself to feel the feelings. You know what I mean? That's imperative. Talk about it to people, a person, your therapist, whatever. But it's a need to understand that in some area of your life, there's a period at the end of the sentence, and it's almost thanking it and releasing it. It's like this experience, this person, this time, this job, it served its purpose. It's given you a great deal. Could things have been any different? We'll never know. We can speculate on it. You can torture yourself and speculate on it. I wouldn't advise it, but it's a need to accept it. You know what I mean? One doesn't even need to fully understand just yet, but it's accepting it and knowing one needs to move forward, because I feel there's a level of you guys holding yourself back from something great, something abundant, something amazing that lies just around the river bend. Sorry, couldn't help it. That lies right around the corner, proverbial corner, right? Because it's being bound to your past. Right? For some of you, like I said yesterday, it may just be tying up loose ends. I mean, if you have a parent that passed away, like opening succession on the estate and not doing that because it's not wanting to accept that your parent passed, you know what I mean? But the whole purpose of this is that it's not serving you. You know what I mean? And no one that loves and cares about you would want to see you stuck or not being able to move forward in the event of this is someone that you lost, because they're no longer with us. You know what I mean? They're very much with you in spirit, and they would want what's best for you. You know what I mean? So whatever your specific situation is, it's just imperative now to go through whatever process you guys have to go through, as far as like with tying up these loose ends and going easy on yourself and allowing yourself to move forward, right? Because it's a very trapped in the past kind of energy here. Now, going on to my earth signs, last but certainly not least. First, we have Capricorn, and we have balance for my Capricorns. So Capricorn, the thing that's important on today, and this legit goes back to y'all card on yesterday. Okay. When I talked about, y'all might just want to watch Taurus reading. I don't care if you don't have it in your chart. You might want to watch Taurus's reading for July, because I talk about this whole phenomenon. I touched on it with you guys yesterday. It's being in two places at one time, right? When we talk about that storm, right? Like, we set an intention, we make a decision to make a change. Yesterday, you guys had the death card. So there's like the start of this proverbial storm is not dark, you know what I'm saying? Transition, right? Proverbially speaking, that happens, right? This has to happen first in order for the or the sunlight after the storm to come in, right? But you want to have a healthy balance between remaining in the present, but also being focused on the future. To negate the present, to numb out, to disassociate and be solely focused on what's to come is not going to help you because that don't exist yet, right? You have solace in knowing that it's coming. However, there are things that need to be done right now, right here, today, right? To happen along what it is that's coming towards us, right? So this would be the equivalent, if we use our storm analogy, of there's a hurricane coming, right? And because you know that after the hurricane, the sun's gonna come out, you're not gonna board up your windows. You're not gonna get, non-perishable food items. You're not gonna get no flashlights. You're not gonna have your raft ready. You're not gonna have your hammer and your saw to cut a hole in your roof. You know what I'm saying? After you climb up in your attic, when the water rises, I'm getting a little triggered. I'm from New Orleans, Katrina, moving out of that, moving right along. But you're not gonna do any of that because it's like, oh no, the sun's gonna come out. So you're not gonna be prepared in the present. That would be asinine. Right? So the wise thing is, and I said a lot of this yesterday for you guys, is to make the proper preparations because it's temporary, but it's happening. Therefore, it needs to be dealt with. However, don't get stuck there because you know that this is going to be over soon. So you don't have to get into like a fatalist mindset where it's like, this is the end of the world and da 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 da. So it's a healthy balance between the two that needs to happen here on today. So what I feel for Capricorns, what may happen here, it's one or the other. Either you guys are too fixated on the storm and you're like disaster thinking, proverbial storm, or you're too fixated on the future and you're numbing out this proverbial storm because it's uncomfortable. And both of those are not so great ideas. So you want to find a balance in between the two here, right? Now, for my Tauruses, we have mysticism. Taurus on today. My friend, I feel you. I so feel you. It's being comfortable with the unknown. okay? Being comfortable with not knowing, right? I feel, and this may, just be me, but I know it's not, because I know other Tauruses and we all deal with this. It's the anticipation, right? So it's more or less on today, Taurus. It's not either, it's not getting what you want when you want it, or it's being completely mobbed and overcome by the anticipation of something that you know is coming and you don't know what's gonna happen. And that's where that can kind of be a dark distraction that could spiral you into a negative thought reel, is because it's a fear of the unknown. It's a desire to have control over a situation. And I feel that usually it's a habit of avoiding things that create this anxiety because of anticipation. Because I literally don't know what's coming. I don't know how this is going to pan out. I don't know how this person is. Am I going to like it here type of deal? And you'll push something off to not feel that anxiousness. But I feel the challenge for you guys on today is to settle into it, right? It's like, if you find yourself in a situation to where you don't know what's about to happen, or you don't know what to expect, settle into that and allow that thought reel to speak to you. Allow that anxiety to speak to you. And I know a technique my Reiki master taught me years ago was asking yourself, why would that be so bad? Right? It's like, why am I so anxious right now? Oh, well, because this could go wrong. Okay, well, if that did go wrong, why would that be so bad? And you just keep having that conversation with yourself. Well, that would be bad because of this. But why would that be so bad? Well, I mean, because of this. Well, why would that be so bad? So it kind of gets you to the root of where that fear is really coming from. But me just giving ballpark generalized from the frequency that I'm feeling here, it's a fear of being out of control. And that means something. It's maybe once upon a time when you weren't in control, something bad or undesirable happened, right? But it's knowing or needing to accept that in life, to think that we have control over a situation is a false sense of control. And it can actually cause more harm than good. Because it makes me think about people who avoid going to the doctor, right? So this may be the deal for some Taurians. It's like, there's something wrong, you know what I mean? And it's clear something's wrong, but you're too scared to go to the doctor because you're afraid, like, what if it's this? What if it's that? And it's the thought of not wanting to know that it's this or it's that. So you'll disassociate, go into denial, and pretend it's not happening. And the truth is that can actually make matters worse. It could be something that you could have went and found out wasn't as big of a deal as it is now, having, avoided the doctor for, 10, 20 years, whatever the case may be. And avoiding it for so long that now it's a huge problem, when if you would have went when you noticed it, it would have been something very small, very non-invasive to take care of, right? So I feel there's a level of that. I feel like I kind of said something like that yesterday for you guys. I can't really recall 110%. Oh yeah. You guys had the Ace of Swords in the reverse on yesterday, and it was a thought breakthrough. But I feel like this is, I know. This is literally a self-limiting thought process, and it keeps you trapped. It keeps you from fully experiencing life, and some of it can be harmful in that case if it's something like avoiding the doctor. You know what I mean? And lastly, my Virgos, man, it's long today. We have expansion. So Virgo on today, it's important for you guys to know that you're not alone. I know yesterday you guys had an energy of kind of feeling alone. On today, it's important for you to know that even if you don't have anyone in 3D, family, friends, whatever, that is a support system to you, it's important for you guys to know that you have an entire spiritual team behind you. You have your angels, your ancestors, your guides, you got spirit, you know what I'm saying? All of these people are conspiring behind the scenes and working in your favor, right? Giving you insights and signs and symbols and dreams and things of the sort. And if you ever feel like you're alone, it's imperative to remind yourself of that. So if this is the same Virgo person from yesterday, where you felt like, you know, you're always there for people, similar to kind of how Pisces felt, and feel that when you need those same people that they're not there for you, it's important for you to know that your spiritual team is always there for you. And I feel the need to tell you that when it comes to spiritual team, like angels and stuff like that, they can't help you unless you ask. So they just be sitting up there waiting, because, you know, they can't just intervene without your permission, because that would be violating your free will and things like that, you know. So if ever you feel like you need help, call out to one of your angels, your ancestors, your guides, whatever your belief system is, because they can't intervene without your permission. But this card coming up for you guys says to me that they're just waiting on you to ask, right? Because I feel in the very near future, Virgo, there's a lot of opportunities for you guys to align with, I think, a lot of things you guys have wanted for a very long time. But just because the people in your life may not be supportive of it, you know, you do have sort of kind of people that are supportive of you. And it's a need to tap into that and to know that, because I feel like that's going to give you a certain level of confidence, because I feel the lack thereof of people supportive in your life right now kind of makes you doubt yourself or not know how you could go where you're desiring to go without the support, right? But I feel with this spiritual team, even if you guys are like I said, lonely, like not having friends, family, whatever, I feel that you guys do have a soul tribe, or maybe one or two people, you know what I'm saying? If it's not a whole tribe that you guys can align with. But I just feel like it's a need for you and the universe to work in cahoots with each other to get you into the right place at the right time, if that's making sense. But man, today was long. I mean, y'all be time stamping, so it's not gonna seem that long to y'all, but this was very wordy. But anywho, I hope you guys have an amazing Thursday. Please let me know in the comments what you think, my friends. I hope you guys have a great Thursday, and I will see you on tomorrow. Later.